going to talk about wings right now. I love doing wings. Fairies need wings, and our little girl is eventually going to be a fairy. And I wanted to show you a couple different ways of doing wings. This particular one, I've used Angelina fiber and also their film, along with organza and netting. And of course, they're wired because wings should be wired so that you can move them around. On this little girl, this is more the ones that we're going to be doing. Let me get you out of the way, my dear. Whoops, sorry. So let me turn her around so you can see what I'm talking about. These were stitched in a design and then certain sections burned away with a soldering iron. And I'm going to show you how to do that next. This is a pair of wings that I have drawn. It was in my Creative Explorations book. And as you can see, I've drawn it on water-soluble stabilizer. And remember the little flowers that were on the original lime? I've drawn a few of those on here too, because I'm going to be stitching the design. Now, what's underneath? Several layers of different colors of organza. You can see, and I really love this particular one. So I've got several layers, and do be careful of the color, because one doll that I made ended up with very muddy wings because I was having too much color. I've also tucked a little bit of Angelina fiber. I haven't ironed this. You usually iron it and then it creates a nice sheet. But because I'm going to be heating this later on, I don't want to iron it just yet. I might iron it later, but not right now. So those are my layers, and then here's the design. And now I'm ready to start stitching. I put my free motion foot on my machine, and I have my decorative threads in the machine with the metallic thread in the bobbin and the other thread on the top. So I'm going to put my design underneath, lower my presser foot, and it's always good to kind of hang on to your threads in the beginning. And now I'm going to start stitching away. The other thing, I don't know if you noticed or not, my feed dogs are up. Some people say you have to have your feed dogs down. That's not necessarily true. It is helpful in a sense, but if you have a machine that the feed dogs can't lower, that's all right. Don't worry about it, because you can see mine is doing free motion just fine. You'll find a little bit of drag, but that you wouldn't have if your feed dogs were up. But that's about the only thing you're going to find. So I'm going to continue stitching. The other thing you'll notice, I'm not really following my lines. I'm going outside the lines periodically. That's okay too. The most important thing is that I get some of my design in here, because you'll see how that's necessary when we fire up our soldering iron. Okay, so let's just pretend like I've completely finished that. I have a finished wing right here. What I have done is I have put the wing in a warm water, a sink full of warm water, and let the stabilizer dissolve. And I prefer this particular kind of stabilizer. There's kind of a plasticky kind. This is more of a fabric kind. And I know on my other DVD I was using this when I was doing a lot of the felting with the embellisher, because I wanted to dissolve some things. But anything that you can, there's all kinds of water-soluble stabilizers out there. And then you want to dissolve it. And I've dissolved all of it, actually. You can leave some in, and then you can shape the wing. But we're actually going to put some wire on here to shape it. So right now I I don't need to have that stiffness because the wire is going to help me shape it. So I need my soldering iron out and a heat-resistant surface, and we're going to shape these wings. So I have my soldering iron, I've got my glass little surface here, and my wings and my little flowers. And why steel wool? It cleans all the gunk that you're going to pick up from burning away the areas on the organza, because organza is a plastic. Now that's another thing you should keep in mind when doing this. Do work in a well-ventilated room outside or wear a mask because it's pretty stinky, so you don't want to get all those fumes in your nose. So I'm going to take my soldering iron here and I'm going to start by outlining, trying not to get into the stitches. And see how cleanly that cuts away? So again, I'm going to come up here. And pull that away. When you're pulling this away, do be careful because this becomes very, very, very hot. And also, you don't want to hesitate because right there you can't really see, but I hesitated and there's a little burnt area. So that's how I do the outside area. And now let's see, I've done a little embellishing in here. So I want to come in and just sort of make little holes here and there. Didn't have one there, but that's okay. I'll create one. And then wherever else you want some little designs. And here's an area right there. And then do you see these little holes? These are great fun because they're just, I better hold this down. So you're just taking your soldering iron and just poking, and that gives you those little cute little holes. So that's the soldering iron. Very easy, very fun, but cautious. Be careful. Don't touch this. Very, very hot. In fact, let it cool down before you use the steel wool to get the little globs off. So that's our wings. Next, I want to show you how to apply her hair and do those fun embellishments in her hair.